Alrighty, this is a brainstorm session for my coachings with Stephanie that are coming up. Stephanie is the owner of Roots Wellness, Roots Holistic Wellness on Main Street in Chatham. And I've been working with her for just a little over a month now. And one of the things that we're really trying to, I think, solve is like, okay, what's your business model? How does this whole thing work? And so one of the places I actually wanted to start is just like the definition of a business model. And this is coming out of a book that's called Business Model You that I've found to be very, very helpful in my journey. So a business model is the logic So business model is the logic by which an organization sustains itself. And so for me, the idea of a business model became like into my awareness, I guess you could say, when I started taking yoga health coaching with Kate Stillman. It was basically a course that is helping wellness professionals have a business model and sort of know how to work that business model in order to generate an income, an impact, and a lifestyle. Okay, so these are the big three for me as I was coming to like the point in my journey where I was like, okay, something needs to change. I was doing the acting thing. I was on the grind. I was in the hustle. COVID actually happened. And so that really opened up a lot of opportunity for me. But I realized that these three things were very important for me. And so that could be a moment for you to just like check in and see like, are these three things important for you? Are they things that you're looking to prioritize right now in your business, in your life, in your entrepreneurship, in your offerings, in your services? And if not, this might not be the best video for you because this is basically going to be a video that's going to help you target each of these three things. And we're going to try to find really like, what's the business model? What is the logic by which your organization will sustain itself that this is all going to operate under? And we'll get into all sorts of things like product and how you package a product and that, you know, what marketing is, especially for wellness professionals in terms of content marketing. So I'm really excited to dive into all of this. And I really want to I want to ask a couple of questions to begin with. And I'll just do a short series of like these kind of videos for you to work through. So that way, when we have the live calls, you're a little bit more prepared and you can ask questions, you can ask, you can share revelations, you can share what's working. So that's going to be a big part of this, is the fact that we're doing this together. And I would recommend like getting this book to you guys. It wouldn't be a bad idea, I think, to have it. So that way, as we work through Business Model you have something to reference. And that being said, if you're at a place in your life right now where you're like, I can't handle another book, don't worry about it. We'll just be talking about it here and you're welcome to come and tune into the conversation. So the first two questions that I want to put to you all, I'll come back to my screen here. So one, we're going to ask like, who is the customer? And two, I want you to ask yourself, and this is coming right out of the book, I'm on page 26 in section 1. So what job does the customer need to have done? Okay, two good questions to be asking yourself, and start to just like jot some ideas down on a piece of paper in terms of like what comes to mind for answers to these questions. Who is the customer? What job does the customer need to have done? And I'll just keep talking as you're reflecting, but really do try to put pen to paper here and just start writing some stream of consciousness stuff. Don't judge it too much. But in terms of like what job does the customer need to have done, you could really think about that as like, what results do you get for people? Yeah. So this is great if you already have clients. If you don't, no worries. But like, what results do you get for people? And you might need to go and canvas your people and ask them like, hey, what results do you get from working with me? Because I'm not even necessarily sure. But if you had to guess, what would it be? Because I mean, I think we all you kind of know, like, why are you in this? What results are you trying to get for people? So you could say here, like, desired results. Like, why do you teach yoga? Why do you sell, locally sourced organic products? Actual results. Because interestingly, like the two don't always line up. We could Venn diagram it. And sometimes they do line up. So I want you to get really clear about what's here. And that might be homework for some of you. That might be like, okay, I got to figure out what results I'm getting for people. Like, why are people coming to me? And the more specific you can get with this, I'd say the better. And then we could talk about like, what results do you want to be getting for people? That's not to say you need to discard that. Definitely don't discard that, because you're probably listening to intuition there and realizing like, oh, I have the potential to get these kind of results for people. And it might just not be manifest yet. And then there's going to be something in between this. I don't know, what's an in-between color? Okay. So then you also want to ask yourself, who's the customer? Don't let this question freak you out. Like, I'm thinking of a conversation I was having with Stephanie the other day. She's like, I hate this stuff. I don't like answering these questions. Just like make it really simple. Where do they live? Right? Are they local or are they not local? Right? And it's unique to you. It's unique to the business that you're building. So you could start by identifying something like that. Other demographic kind of things you could look at. You could group it in terms of like what professions they are, what age ranges they are, what genders they are. You could even go like, what sexualities are they? Some people will have a niche towards a specific group because that's what a niche is basically. And I'm not trying to get you to niche right now. I don't even know how I feel about niching, right? I'm just trying to get you to identify who's the customer. And so to help us do this, who's the customer thing, I want to come to Dave Gray's, excuse me. I want to come to Dave Gray's empathy map. I got a frog in my throat. Dave Gray empathy map. Mac is getting comfy on the couch here. That's the new chair, by the way. Check the new chair. Check out the new armchair. Say hi, Mac. You like that chair? So yeah, we're building out the office here. The rug's in, standing desk is in, the view's nice, even though you can't see it right now. So anyways, yeah, I'm digging the new office. I'm digging the new setup. Okay, so we're talking empathy map here. So I want you to draw this on your paper. And honestly, maybe I'll walk through it and then we can draw it together. You can see my bad drawing skills. So let's see, here we go. Let's go to this updated empathy map. This is an article by Dave Gray. So he's, author of Liminal Thinking, really profound influence for me in my thinking and the evolution of my thinking. Highly recommend his stuff. So let's take a look at this. First question here is like, who are we empathizing with? So empathy is great because it's like, it's emotional and it's a form of connection. It's a form of understanding like what another person's going through. And that already puts you in such a prime place to be offering the services that you offer, right? So this is a little blurry. Hopefully you can see it okay. Who is the person that we want to understand? What is the situation they are in? What is their role in the situation? Okay, a couple of interesting prompts. Two, what do they need to do? Like, what do they need to do differently? What jobs do they want or need to get done? What decisions do they need to make? And how will we know when they were successful? That's such a good question. I've heard Kate talk about this in terms of like evidence of success. And when we can identify like what's evidence of success, then we know when we've hit our goal. And I think there's something to be said for hitting goals, especially if you're in the game of entrepreneurship. That's all it really is, isn't it? Like setting goals and hitting goals. And you probably set way more goals than you hit, right? And that's being a good entrepreneur. That's being a good business person. That's being creative. That's being in positivity bias, growth mindset. That every experiment isn't a failure, but just a learning of what didn't work, which is huge. That goes right to a Thomas Edison quote, I think. I didn't fail. I just learned 1,000 different ways that don't work, right? And how valuable is that information? So we'll come back to that. We'll jot down some things for the empathy map section 2 in a second. I'm just going to keep going through this before we work through it together. So number 3 is like, what do they see? What do they see in the marketplace? What do they see in their immediate environment? What do they see others saying and doing? And what are they watching and reading? This is a great prompt too. And I'm sure that some of you are already lighting up with things like, oh, what do they see when they go into the supermarket, right? If you're someone who's selling organic, locally sourced, homeopathic remedy type of products, what is your customer seeing in the marketplace that purports to do the same thing as some of your products do, right? Whether it's scented candles, that's a great example. Like, what are they seeing there in terms of advertisers in the corporate world? I was just talking this morning about I feel like I kind of put my foot in my mouth. I was talking about there's probably never going to be a time when I don't order off of Amazon. It's just so convenient. And all 3 of the guys that I was with were like, yeah, we don't order from Amazon. Like we don't go to Walmart. We choose companies whose values we align with. And I was like, ooh, good to know. Like, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll get there one day. But anyways, it's good to know where your people shop. And so what they see, what they're being told, what advertisers are telling them. This is so many things, you guys, especially if you're in health and wellness. It's everywhere. It's in the grocery store, it's online, it's in email, it's on social media. They're constantly being fed information. Okay, so it's good to just identify that. Number 4, then what do they say about that? What have we heard them say? What can we imagine them saying? Whether it's about a achy back or their stress level. I was just having a conversation with a guy yesterday who was like, I can feel the stress in my shoulders when I go into the city, basically. He was like, I feel the stress in my body when I'm in the city versus when he's in the country. And that's not to say the city's better or worse than the country, right? It's just, we want to notice what we notice. Okay, so what do they say? Number 5, what do they do? What do they do today? What is their behavior that you've observed? What can you imagine them doing? What do they hear? What are they hearing others say? This is a big one too, you guys. And so I think it's just so easy right now to look and see what they're hearing. If you can if you can tolerate mainstream media for a short amount of time, just listen and be like, oh my God, that's what people are having fed into their consciousness multiple hours a day for a lot of people. Okay. What are they hearing from friends? What are they hearing from colleagues? What are they hearing secondhand? Okay, then we got to get in their head. Look at that. What do they think and feel? So what are their pains? What are their fears, frustrations? And then anxieties, it also says, and then gains. What are their wants, needs, hopes, and dreams? Okay, last thing, what are their thoughts and feelings might mediate, I'm guessing that says, their behavior. So wow, there's a lot there. And basically what we're going to do now is work through this together. Okay. So I'm going to come back to, hang on, I got to do a little screen dancing here. I'm going to come back to my iPad. And I know this might feel tedious. I just want to urge you to do it. Just do it. Don't judge it. Don't question it. Be mindful through all of this. Okay, there's my person. Looks a little weird, but you get the idea. We'll give him an eye, or her, or they, them. Okay, so we've got to section this off in terms of boom, boom. So draw this on your paper with me. Boom, boom, boom. And see how, like, guys, just get into this, see how where it's sectioned off around their head. And it looks like there's a little like dotted line around here. So we're tapping into each one of these unique parts of their sensory experiences. So what are they seeing? What are they saying? What are they doing? See how that's like in their body, action. And then in the back of their head, we're like tapping into their consciousness. So I'm just in the ear too. That's big. So one, let's just go through this and start to write. Who are we empathizing with? So who are we empathizing with? Right. Start to write down things. Who is the person that you're trying to understand? Are they hurt? Are they unhealed? Are they steeped in bad habits? Do they have chronic inflammation? How old are they? Right? Write down, this is the question, like, who is the customer? So you might even need to move this off the empathy map to like write more, because you should have a lot that you're writing down right now. What is the situation that they're in? What is the role in the situation? Are they a mother? Are they in a family dynamic? Are they a father? Are they a partner? Are they a employee somewhere? All right. So I'm just throwing out a ton of different ideas. And then I just want to power through this. You might need to pause and take time to write more. Okay. Because I need to put a time limit on these videos or else I'll go forever. Number two, what do they need to do? So right, what do they need to do? What do they need to do differently? What habits do they need? What fasting rhythms do they need? What kind of like, do they need more fun in their life? Right? Are they moving enough? What job do they want or need to get done? What decisions do they need to make? That's a big one. A lot of people have too many decisions, decision fatigue. How will we know when they were successful? How will you know when your customer is successful? Like, what is evidence of success? And that might be for you, like good health. Is it them reaching their goals? What are those goals? Are they body weight goals? Are they intelligence goals? A lot of different ways to think about this. Let's move right along though. What do they see? What are they looking at? What are they seeing in the marketplace? So where are they shopping? That's a good way to think about that. And then what are they seeing when they go into those grocery stores? Like, it was just Easter here, and it was, it was a barrage. It was just an attack when you would walk into a grocery store between the color and it's so interesting, right? And it's all stuff that's pretty bad for you, unfortunately. Some of it tastes really good, but like the profit motive with those products in those places, I can really see why it's like, okay, that's a reason to not shop at Price Chopper, So I'll have to think more about that. All right, what do they see? What do they see in their immediate environment? Like, what's their house look like? Is it clean? Is there clutter? Okay, what are others saying and doing? What do they see others saying and doing? And then what are they watching and reading? So I hope that you're just like writing up a storm right now. Like, there's really, if you want this kind of stuff to work, if you want your business to be successful, just put the effort in now. That's why I'm like having us do it during the video. There's actually a great quote that reads, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So just do the work right now so that you can benefit in the future. I promise you won't regret it. Don't even judge it. Just write. Just write. What do they say? Some of you will need to watch this again too, and that's okay. Videos that I find valuable, I will watch them multiple times until like the download is in, until I can basically repeat it back. Okay, so what have you heard them say? What have you heard your customer say? This is the person that you're empathizing with, remember. So you start with empathy. It's so cool. What can we imagine them saying? What can you imagine the people saying that you're helping? Does it have to do with, a lot of this is like, objections come to mind. But not only objections, it's probably the thing that will drive the objections, but like, what's their talk like? What is their language like? Are they in negativity bias? Are they, maybe you look for the light, you look for the good. What are they saying that's positive that you can relate to, that you can empathize with? All right. What do they do? What do they do today? Are they on a set schedule? What behavior have you observed in them? And what can you imagine them doing? So right. And if you need to, of course, like pause, think, take a breath, check in, do that too. What do they hear? Last thing. This could be media. This could be cultural. Like, what are they hearing other people say? What are they hearing their friends say? What's the conversation that's happening at work? What are they hearing secondhand? Okay, hi everyone. I realized I neglected to include two very important questions in the empathy map exercise. So I'm inserting this. I look a little bit hairier than I did a couple of weeks ago when I first made this video. So just bear with me here, because these two questions are actually like crucially important. These final two. So go back to your map, and I want you to look first at number 7 here in the middle of this. What are the pains and what are the gains of your person? Okay. So, I mean, I'm serious. These are crucial questions to understand about who you're selling to. Also crucial questions to understand about yourself. And I'll actually just pause on that, because you could fill out this empathy map for yourself, or even better, like who you were 3 stages of development ago. You could think back to who you were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, before you did yoga, before you did meditation, if you're a wellness practitioner, if you're not a wellness practitioner, before you did basically the thing that you do now, okay? Because who you're selling to, you probably have something in common with that person, especially if you're engaged in your business with passion and you're in your business because it's something that you're passionate about. It's probably because you have personal resonance with that thing as well. So these two questions are very important. First, what are the fears, frustrations, and anxieties? So this is the pains. So think of who you're selling to, who your customer is, and I want you to jot down in the middle of the picture here, inside the head, what are the fears, frustrations, and anxieties? It's, am I not enough? Do I need the next great, kind of material consumer thing to make me, to like elevate my status, right? Do I not have enough time? Am I anxious about work? Am I anxious about my family? What am I afraid of? So all of these are really good. And seriously, press pause on this video, take a couple of deep breaths, reflect, and write down at least 5 or 6 things in this category, okay? Don't move on until you've done that, please. Then you're gonna get to the next question, gains. What are their wants, needs, hopes, and dreams? So what do they want to be happening in their life? And then honestly, I kind of even like to go in this question to like, what's already going well in their life? What are they currently gaining? What are they currently doing well? Because you can actually leverage that and the relatability that you have with them to help them orient more towards what's going well, so that they're going to keep going in that direction after working with you. Okay. So jot down a couple of things. What are their wants? What are their needs? What are their hopes? What are their dreams? Do they want to work less? Do they want to vacation more? Do they want to prioritize their lifestyle in the same way that we were talking about in the beginning of the video, like you're trying to do? Do they want more time outside? Do they want more time with their kids? Do they want, yeah, I'll stop saying things, but like the idea is for you to be just churning out thoughts. You can always cross things out later. Just write. Press pause if you need to take more time. I'm going to go on to the last question. What other thoughts and feelings might motivate their behavior? Okay. So what are their thoughts and feelings? Whether those are thoughts or feelings that come from themselves, or maybe thoughts and feelings that come from their loved ones, their spouse, their kids, their family, their coworkers that motivate their behavior. One of the things that happens with culture is that like we just kind of get into the trend like what is popular in culture right now. A lot of people just, there's a gravitational weight to culture. And so if you're not kind of working intentionally to put your focus, your attention elsewhere, you're just going to get sucked right into the popular thing that's going on in culture right now. So what other thoughts and feelings are motivating their behavior? All right, you guys, so this is the empathy map exercise. And remember, it was all in service of answering these two questions, right? What job, first of all, who is the customer? And that's who you're empathizing with. To what they do. And then what job does the customer need to have done? And just as a reminder, we used Dave Gray's empathy map to talk about, hopefully you're seeing my screen. I can never tell with two screens. Dave Gray's empathy map to help narrow that down. All right, I hope this was helpful. Let me know if there's questions. I'm going to look forward to connecting with you guys live for Q&A, but bring what you worked on here, and then that will give us something to talk about. All right, see ya.